Good evening. My name is John English. I'm the former Liberal Member of Parliament for Kitchener, and I'm very, very pleased to be here tonight to make a very exciting announcement. We're going to learn that Shawky Fahel, a very good friend of mine, a leader in his community, a great entrepreneur, a great philanthropist, and a great Canadian, Shawky has decided to be a candidate for the Liberal nomination in the riding of Kitchener South Hespeler. Kitchener South Hespeler is a diverse riding made up of several communities, and part of it was once part of the Kitchener riding, part of it was Cambridge, part of it was Kitchener-Conestoga. It's diverse, it's interesting, and it's liberal. Shawky has long been a leading entrepreneur in the riding, and his River Lofts project in Hespeler has won national attention and has reinvigorated that community. Shawky is a man of vision, one who knows much about the riding and cares about it. Shawky has made a video and has had many people endorse it, and he can tell us best. So let's watch the video and we'll chat with him afterwards. Thank you very much.
Hello, my friends. My name is Shawky Fahel, a very, very proud Canadian. I have been a member of the Federal Liberal Party of Canada since 1979, and today I am making a great announcement. I am announcing that I'm running for the nomination of the Federal Liberal Party in the constituency of Kitchener South Hespeler for the next federal election. I was born in Jaffa, Palestine, and I grew up in Israel until my teenage years. That's when my family decided to move to this great country to escape the turmoil of the Middle East and seek a much better life. Of course, as a child, I didn't have very much except the love of my family, of course. There were 7 of us: my baba, my mama, myself, and my 4 brothers. I have to tell you, I learned the value of hard work since I was a child. I also learned that you had to do things unconditionally for the benefit of everyone around you. I started my first job when I was 12 years old, and I've been hard at work ever since. In the 53 years that I've lived in this great country, I'm very proud to say my wife Kathy and I started our own family. And we are truly blessed to have 2 terrific children, Shadi and Amanda. I received a top-notch education from Waterloo Lutheran University, which is Wilfrid Laurier University today. I became the CEO of several different companies within the JG Group. I was honored to represent our country on many international diplomatic missions. And through it all, I have built many heartfelt business and personal relationships. In return for what this great country has given me and my family, I would like to give back because I believe I have a lot to offer. I have created the Canadian International Development Organization as a charitable organization in 1998, which supports humanitarian projects in many parts of the world. I have volunteered as a president of Canadian Arab Friendship Association. I have volunteered in many capacities within the Federal Liberal Party of Canada. And I have been a loyal, hard-working Rotarian for over 30 years. I want to represent the people of Kitchener South Hespeler as your Member of Parliament. I believe that the Liberal Party can win a majority in the next federal election. Our riding needs a Member of Parliament who cares about your jobs, who's focused on post-pandemic economic recovery and sustainability, who supports investment in healthcare as a priority, and who believes that Canada can be a leader in the fight against climate change. I believe in treating newcomers with respect and dignity. I believe in expanding opportunities for immigrants who want to contribute to Canada. Equity, diversity, and inclusion must be a guaranteed right for every Canadian. I'm ready to serve the people of Kitchener South Hespeler, but to do that, I really need your support. I need you to visit my website, voteshawky.ca, and register as a Liberal. Please tell your family and friends to support me to become the candidate for Kitchener South Hespeler for the next federal election. Thank you very much. Be well and be safe.
Shawky Fahel is someone that I not only endorse to be a member of parliament, but is someone that I actually really admire as a person. Shawky has gone out of his way for myself and many other entrepreneurs like me over the years, no matter how difficult our ideas might be. In my case, that has meant lending his reputation, lending his connections, and most importantly, his actual time and attention to think about and help with the problems that we're facing as we build our businesses. And while I got to know Shawky, it became clear to me that he's not just someone that's trying to help out of any kind of selfish means. He's someone that wants to genuinely contribute back to the relationships that he builds in his life. And he wants to see not only other people that he helps with thrive, but he really wants to see the community he's a part of thrive alongside them. When I'm looking at the type of person that I want to have in office that's able to contribute their knowledge and their integrity back to the community that they're trying to serve, I can't think of anyone better than Shawky.
I've known Shawky now for well over a decade. He was one of the early visionaries that was responsible for the Riverbank Lofts development. It is his passion, his knowledge, his generosity in terms of how he works with all of the tenants and businesses and surrounding community that really has helped us kind of form a friendship outside of the business relationship. And it's those qualities that we think will be really fantastic in terms of making him a great representative for us in Ottawa.
I know Shawky from last 30 years, and whatever he goes after, he achieves it. And I think he's the right candidate for the Liberal Party in this riding. And I give my full support to him.
I've known Shawky for 15 years, both professionally and personally. I got to know him intimately when we crossed paths in Hespeler on the Riverbank Lofts project. Shawky had a great vision for the community. We stepped in and helped him in partnership execute that vision. And through that, I realized how much of a community builder he really is. I think Shawky wants to get involved in politics, not for the politics or the paycheck, but more so for the community building initiative. He's always been a big community builder, a big community connector, and this country's afforded him a tremendous opportunity, and now it's time for him to pay that forward to others that want to seek a similar opportunity that he had. So I'm happy to endorse him for the riding of Kitchener South Hespeler.
My name is Alex Mustakis, and I'm the Artistic Director of Drayton Entertainment, and I want to say a few words about my good friend Shawky Fahel. Shawky is a strong advocate for the arts, recognizing the significant cultural, social, economic, and educational contributions they make towards building a strong community and a healthy, vibrant society. As a not-for-profit charitable arts organization and one of the top producers of professional live theater in this country, we have benefited greatly from Shawky's corporate and personal philanthropy, as many organizations have in our community. We are so grateful for all the causes he has championed. On a personal note, we're excited that Shawky is a proponent of our new long-term vision to grow our youth programs in diversity, equity, and inclusion so that we may better reflect the communities we serve. And speaking of serving, I think the people of Kitchener South Hespeler will benefit greatly as Shawky will become an incredible champion for their community.
Thanks go to Shawky Fahel for his vision in seeing the potential of the old American Standard building and for his commitment to helping re-energize the village of Hespeler. Heritage and history are vital. Shawky not only recognizes that, but he also helps preserve it. Thanks, Shawky.
My name is Asma Al-Wahsh, and I am the founder of the Canadian Arab Women's Association. We reached out to Mr. Shawky Fahel 2 years ago because to help us in our organization. Since then, Mr. Shawky is our main advisor to our organization. His commitment to for a better community is much needed now. To support Shawky Fahel, please visit his website www.voteshawky.ca, or you can visit his social media, Facebook and Twitter, Vote Shawky, and Instagram, Shawky Fahel.
Good evening, Shawky. Good evening, everyone. Shawky, those endorsements are simply stunning. You got so many people who admire you and admire what you've achieved in your life and for this region and for the country. And there are many other endorsements on your website, including, I noticed, Paul Martin and several prominent Canadian diplomats. I'd like to use those endorsements to carry out the discussion with you tonight. I'll start with the first one, Liam Horn. Liam's a young, very successful entrepreneur. And I've always been impressed by the way that you work so well with young people. You mentor them, you lead them. And Liam said, and I copied it down because it struck me, you do this not for selfish reasons, but to contribute back to the relationships that you are building in life. This is really the mark of a good member of parliament, a good public servant. And it's those qualities that I think make you a very, very good potential MP. Potential, you'll win the riding. Liberals win the riding. And I'd like you to tell me why you decided to run in Kitchener South Hespeler.
Good evening, John, ladies and gentlemen. And first thing to the folks that endorsed me, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much. Very, very, very appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, all participants that are with us this evening, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight for this great announcement. And John, to answer your question regarding the endorsement, I have to tell you, I mean, we are truly blessed. We live in a very, very vibrant community, a very vibrant region. We have two of the top two universities that are top-notch in the world. We have a great world-class college, and we are very, very blessed with the education system that we have. Now, I want to go back to 1997 when Communitech was founded, actually, and two of our friends, the late Andrew Telegdi, bless his soul, John, a mutual good friend and a good member of Parliament for Waterloo, and Brian Turnbull, the mayor of Waterloo, decided to help a dozen leaders of the community to establish Communitech. And I was approached by Vince Shirelli, who was the first CEO of Communitech, asking me, Shawky, we need you to participate. We need you to help us at events. I don't come from a high-tech background. He says, you're connected in the community, you're connected with the Liberal Party. It was an honor to help because I have to tell you, the first meeting the founders had with Paul Martin, who used to be our Minister of Finance at the time, at the Waterloo Inn in a roundtable discussion happened after that. So, and through with all, today, Communitech is a cornerstone of our region, is a cornerstone representing thousands of startups and thousands of companies. Some of them, like the company that Liam Horn, who is a byproduct of the ecosystem of our region, a leader in his field, and they are paying back to the community. So Liam Horn is actually a testimony to these young people that have come up through our ecosystem, that have come up through University of Waterloo and through Communitech. And again, we are honored. I'm honored. I'm proud to be part of this community.
And of course, Conestoga College, which has played such a large part too in the economic life of Kitchener South Hespeler. And you played a very large part in the economic life of Kitchener South Hespeler. The project with which you're identified is the Riverbank Lofts, and Corey de Villiers spoke about it and said that you brought passion and generosity to your work there. And Scott Higgins, who's very much involved in the area as well, said you had a great vision for the community. Today, we're in the midst of a pandemic and things are changing, and we need a vision for the future. Can you relate the kind of vision you had for city of Hespeler, for the town of Hespeler and the city of Cambridge, to the broader question of the vision you have for the constituency in the future when you're the member of Parliament? What is your vision for the riding and for Canada, for that matter?
Thanks, John, for the question. The village of Hespeler 20 years ago was a very, very small village. To me, Hespeler has always been a diamond in the rough. So American Standard Building, when it came up for sale in 2007, that's when I embarked on buying the building. But prior to that, Hespeler used to be called Bergie Town after Suzanne Bergie and her husband, and it was called New Hope. As a matter of fact, when I bought American Standard, my first project, I was going to name it New Hope. And the New Hope became Hespeler in 1859. That was the village of Hespeler that was registered as a municipality. And that's all due to Jacob Hespeler that came in 1845 and bought 145 acres on the river, and he created the dam and created a grist mill and a cooperage house and a gas house, and he also created the largest industrial textile industrial space in all of Canada. And you move it forward. To me, heritage is history. Heritage is who we are. Heritage is part of our existence, and repurposing old buildings, reinventing old buildings has been always very, very close to my heart. And I remember when I drove down on Guelph Avenue, down the hill to the river, and I looked at the building, American Standard, and it was majestic. And people talk about a vision. When a developer has a vision, it is what are you going to turn something into in the future. It's being able to imagine what is going to be. So, and Hespeler has gone through. It used to be stamped enamel in 1913 to 1969. 69 American Standard. And American Standard, by the way, used to produce 600,000 bathtubs in that building down in Hespeler. And everything new arises from old buildings. That's what Jane Jacobs said once. So you roll it forward today, and I am very, very thankful to the HIP group with the leadership of Scott Higgins that helped me complete the project. And by the end of the day, we have today in the heart of Hespeler over 200 families right in the heart of Hespeler. And Hespeler is turning into a vibrant little village. I remember the late Milo Shantz, bless his soul. When I first bought the building, I was standing with him in the corner of Queen and Cooper Street, and we were looking down Queen Street. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and we said, you know what? This place can turn into a little St. Jacobs. So, and the place is starting to come around, and there's vibrancy in there. There's good community in there, and I'm very proud and honored to have participated in that. And that's why Kitchener South Hespeler, because Hespeler is part of that riding, is very close to my heart. We have a few buildings that my son and I own in Hespeler, and we are still participating in trying to recreate and trying to strengthen the community.
Alex Mistakis, who's had such a great career in theater, talked about how you've been helpful to him as a philanthropist, but he also talked about your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Kitchener South Hespeler is a very diverse riding, like Canada itself is a very diverse country now. And you've always held those values so strongly. And I recall many years ago, I was involved with Pearson College, part of the World Peace Colleges out in Victoria. And it's a smaller college that tries to bring together people from the students, high school students essentially, and give them a chance. And you were approached for a donation. You gave a donation, but it was on condition. You would give support for an Israeli student and a Palestinian student on the condition they lived in shared the same room. The Pearson College took your funds and they did it, and the two formed a lasting friendship. And it's kind of a model of what you've always wanted to achieve in the Middle East and more generally. And you worked very hard for Lloyd Axworthy when Lloyd Axworthy was our foreign minister, a great liberal foreign minister. And Lloyd Axworthy has endorsed you. He says he thinks you should be the member of parliament for Kitchener South Hespeler and that you'll be a wonderful member of parliament. And I was very pleased when I heard that. And could you talk to us a little bit about the work that you did with Lloyd?
Well, Jean, and you are aware, you were a member of parliament at the time. I've had the privilege and honor to be appointed by Lloyd Axworthy as the first Palestinian in this country as an advisor to our Foreign Affairs Ministry on the Middle East, and particularly on the Oslo Agreement, because the Oslo Agreement was signed between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Today, the Oslo Agreement is in a resuscitation mode, but still we were very, very, very excited. Canada played a major role because during the Oslo Agreement, there were 5 groups that were established and founded to deal with the peace process. And one of them was a very volatile file, and it was the refugee file. So Canada used to be the gavel holder for the refugee file, and I had the privilege and honor to work with Michel de Celebaris of the world and David Vivish of the world and Mark Piron and Barbara Gibson, and the list goes on and on. And these were good Canadians that represented us. I remember October the 14th, 1993, actually, the first delegation of 23 Canadians went to Tunis, to hold their first meeting regarding the refugee status. And I worked with Lloyd. We had a little round table advisory group with Patrick Martin and Janice Stein, but I have to tell you, to me, Lloyd Axworthy, I believe, is the best foreign affairs secretary that this country ever had. So his vision, his really rubbed off on me. He really wanted to see some changes, coexistence happening in the Middle East, and that's why I respected him so much. And through it all, I have to tell you that the Canadian representative office in Ramallah, which was opened in 1997, I had lobbied Paul Martin when he was a Minister of Finance to give Lloyd Axworthy, Foreign Affairs, $1 million to open that office. I'm very proud to say that. And not only that, through his tenure, there was a tremendous thaw of relations. We were being treated, the Palestinians, from overseas, were being treated with dignity and with respect, and we were reaching out to them. And we had the late Faisal Hosseini here, we had Nabil Shah here, Mahmoud Abbas here, so our relationship was much better. And we also increased actually the funding to help the Palestinians, for the first time in a very long time. So dealing with Lloyd Axworthy, dealing with the liberals who actually in 1956, the Pearson Party, the Party of Fairness, establishing the United Nations. We are very, very well respected in the Middle East by far, more so than anybody else. I think maybe we're on par with the Scandinavian countries. But aside from that, it was an honor. It was a pleasure. I hope, Lloyd, you're doing good. I know you just celebrated your birthday. Happy birthday. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And thank the Liberal Party, too.
Thanks, Shawky. You and I got to know each other through the Liberal Party. And I met you, I think, almost 40 years ago when you first got involved. And you served as my party president when I was a member. And you served with Karen Redmond, now the regional chair, of course. And we work with a lot of great people in the Liberal Party in Waterloo region. And we've got one of them, a really great guy, Gogi Sadhu, who's been a wonderful supporter along with so many of his community. And I just wanted you to talk about people like Elaine Reese, Walter Musica, and so many. I should name names because there's so many of them. But Gogi spoke for you tonight and gave you a very strong endorsement, and it comes from his heart, I know. And it comes from the heart of many of the others of us who are devout liberals. Shawky, did you want to comment on Gogi's comment?
Absolutely. First of all, again, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you tonight, John, because you have been my liberal political mentor for over 40 years, actually. We've known each other almost 42 years, and I was honored to serve the riding when you were a member, and the riding when Karen Redmond was the member. Honored to work with all the current members, Raj Saini, Bordesh, Brian May, Tim Lewis, when a liberal is a liberal is a liberal, like a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. So it really is an honor for me. And I have to admit, you have taught me a lot about the liberal values. You taught me a lot about the Canadian liberalism. You taught me a lot about what Pierre Trudeau stood for. You wrote his biography, official biography, John. So. And that brings me to ridings. Ridings and associations stay, members of parliament come and go. the essence of the political arena is the riding. And to strengthen the riding, you have to have a good team. And Gorgi Sidhu, who is a Sikh that came from India, seeking a better life in this country, just like Shawky Fahel, a new Canadian, a new immigrant that came to this country in 1968, actually. That's when Pierre Trudeau was running for the prime ministry, and he won in 1968, and he opened all the floodgates for us immigrants to come to this country. That's why 90% of the immigrants across the country vote liberals, and I hope you still vote liberal, everybody. So Gorgi and I, we hit it off from day one. He was organizing for the liberals. I was organizing for the liberals. And guess what? We were a tremendous team in going out and signing good new liberals for not only Kitchener riding, for the whole region and other places. I mean, Gorgi worked in all of Southwest Ontario, and I'm honored and pleased to call him a friend. He's been a tremendous asset and organizer for his community, for the Sikh community. And I'm very proud to say I am a friend of the Sikh community. I have very many good Sikh friends that I have worked with, over the past the past 40 years. So he was here this week, yesterday, I think. No, last week, and he had his grandson with him. And I looked at him, and he looked at me and said, I said to his grandson, your grandpa and I, we've been working together since 1990, and we still are. We had a couple of political differences. He supported Chrétien, I supported Martin, but still, by the end of the day, we're still very good liberals. So, Gorgi, I want to tell you publicly tonight, and on behalf of the community and on behalf of the Liberal Party, thank you very, very much for all you have done for the Liberal Party. Thank you for your help for me. I am truly honored, and thank you. And Dhanyawad. Dhanyawad is thank you in India.
Shawky, Lloyd Axworthy and Paul Martin. Paul's also endorsed your candidacy, and you mentioned you were a strong supporter of him. Both have pointed to climate change as the greatest challenge that the planet faces and the greatest challenge that Canada faces. And very early, you became involved in sustainable development. The Alex School in Waterloo, I remember you won national attention for what you achieved there and what you did in sustainable development in the case of a redevelopment of a historic building. I looked through what you talked about, and I think you've got a lot to bring to the table because you've been a business person for many years. You've worked in, as you've said, restoring old buildings and preserving and sustaining. And I wonder if you make some comments about your experience and what that will bring to the political arena.
Well, John, as I said earlier, heritage is history, heritage is who we are, heritage reflects where we have been and where we are today. And, the preservation to me is a tremendous, tremendous asset now. Out there in the community, there is a division between developers regarding old buildings, okay? Old buildings and heritage buildings, they have been a sore for a very long time because of the Heritage Act until 2005. The Heritage Act in Ontario, they designated buildings historically, but they did not they allowed them to be demolished until the change happened in 2005. And it's bill number 60 that came in, which allowed the municipalities actually to now make sure they preserve the old heritage buildings and what have you. So we have many different hindering steps that need to be changed. We need to take a look at the municipalities. We need to have a uniform laws towards heritage. We need to have incentives. We need to protect investors, developers' investment. Something that we do not have very much of. And the problem with the preservation, which is part of our sustainability as a society, we have to try and visit that and come up with much better solutions. I mean, the best developers of heritage buildings is somebody who is very vibrant, very innovative, that pushes through because he likes old buildings, and they put their soul and their heart in it. And that allows them to try and preserve our history and preserve our environment, because the footplate of the buildings that we preserve is really part of our sustainability. So that's something that's evolving actually with developers in the heritage. Many developers they lock horns with building departments because something called Part 11 review. Part 11 review is fire and safety in the industry. They do not mind. I didn't mind the Part 11 review when I was working with American Standard. I minded the applicability of Part 11 review because the different inspectors will use it differently, and that is not very uniform. Developers need to be assured. You can come in here into Hespeler, where there is magnificent old structures, not only in Hespeler, in all of Cambridge, in all of Waterloo region. We have magnificent buildings that should be preserved. But a developer needs to know that from the municipality, he needs the backing of the municipality. He needs to have incentives. But above all, I think developers, heritage people, and the municipalities have to come together as partners. And until that happens, we will lose a lot of buildings. They have to come together, be partners, and move forward.
Well, that's very interesting, Shawky. And I know you're involved now in restoring what is one of the oldest buildings in downtown Kitchener, which has been in pretty bad shape for a very long time. And I wish you well on that and your partners in that. And speaking of Waterloo region, as I said before, it's a very diverse region. And I was, as I'm sure you were, very touched by Asma's comments about you and what you represent and what she's doing. And she testified how she turned to you for advice, encouragement, when she set out to establish a very important organization of Arab women in Waterloo region. And I wondered if you could comment on that. And after you're done, I'm going to ask Asma to comment herself. She's with us tonight. And I've noticed, knowing you a long time, that when I come by to drop in on you, sometimes there's a former refugee, sometimes there are people from all parts of the world. You enjoy the diversity that we have in our country and our communities, and I'd like to ask you why and what you think it represents about Canada.
Jean, before I answer that, you mentioned an old building downtown. We've had the honor to have actually preserved few buildings, 2-3 buildings in Brantford for Wilfrid Laurier University, Journalism House, Wilkes House, Lawyers Hall. We did Alexandra School in Waterloo. We did Market Village. The building that I'm in on Roger Street, 100,000 square foot industrial building, had a demolition permit when I bought it in 1993. And today, very proud of my son, actually, Shadi, and my partner, and we won't forget American Standard, by the way, in Hespeler. He is actually running and repurposing the old American hotel in the heart of Kitchener-Waterloo on Queen and King that sat empty for 10, 11 years. So I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of what he's doing and the fact that he's following in my footsteps in terms of sustainability and buildings. Now to come back to diversity, inclusion, new Canadians, refugees. I mean, I was a new Canadian from 53 years ago. So, you go through the different cycles from get climatized with the snow, to really get involved in your community. Asma Al-Wahsh is, the way I would dub Asma is as a very, very young, ambitious young Shawky Fahel, actually, that really is trying to do good. And she has founded her organization, the Canadian Arab Women Association, in 2019, I believe. And out of the blue, I received a call from Asma, and she says, would like to meet with you. And I did meet with Asma. And Asma came to see me and asked me if I will participate in trying to advise and to help the group. And it was a pleasure and an honor to see her representing almost 400 women in Waterloo region. You need to know, when I came to Waterloo region, 1968, there was only 10 Arabs, okay? So today, I hope I can sign enough members in Kitchener South Hespeler that can help support my nomination, you know? So Asma came to me, we worked together, we tried to advise her on anything and everything that, from legalities, fundraising, functions, and what have you. So I'm truly honored, I'm truly honored to be a mentor to the group. I'm truly honored to be working with her. But above all, I'm really, I'm ecstatic to see her, you know, trying
And we can see us now.
to break the mold, shall we say? Remember, our Arab culture is a very, very conservative culture, and what have you. So to balance the act between Canadian and Arabism and what have you, it's truly remarkable. It's truly remarkable. So that's what I respect about Asma. That's what I respect about her group and what have you. And I personally will always be there for them and will try to help them, because you know what? It is my duty as a pioneer. As they call me a DP, but I coined that to delayed pioneer, by the way. Okay. So as a pioneer, to try and reach out and help the new Canadians, because I never had that opportunity, John. I had to learn things through the hard way. Today we can reach out to them, we can educate them. I'm reaching out to them. I mean, we have a lot of refugees in here, and I want to thank the Canadian government. I want to thank our prime minister, for bringing in 32,000 refugees, and we have many of them in this region. And people like Asma, actually, and her organization reach out to the women, the new Canadians and the new refugees here, to help them to assimilate them in our society. And that's something tremendous. That's something great. And I'm very proud of Asma. And as I said, good luck, Asma. And I will turn the floor over to you.
Just one thing before I introduce Asma. You mentioned Shadi, your business partner, which he is and is doing so very well with you. Your greatest, you bring so much to politics, so much background in the business world and the political world, community organization, helping others. But your greatest asset, which I know very well because I know them very well, is your family. Shadi and Amanda and Kathy have all been very close for a long time, and I can tell you that without them, you would not be where you are. And they believe in you, and you believe in them so much, and it's wonderful to see. And Asma, you have a family too, and you're working so hard. And Shawky has described you as a young Shawky Fahel, and I wondered how you would react to that. And I was, as I said before, very touched by your comments in the endorsement. And I'd like to know what you're doing and how you're becoming involved in this nomination campaign. And you talked about people signing up to voteshawky.ca. And I'm just so pleased to see you helping out Shawky. Asma?
Thank you so much, John. And before I start commenting on your question, I just want to say thank you, Shawky, for your comment. I am really very honored to be part of this campaign. And thank you for describing me as a mini or Shawky Fahel. And I always in my mind, I always it's always your sound, when you said I am a king and queens makers. So thank you so much for all of your help and all of your support that you have done since we met in 2016. So to come back to your question, John, and thank you for your question. I just want to let you tell you more what we are doing as the Canadian Arab Women's Association. So our organization, the Canadian Arab Women's Association, aims to support Arab women in Waterloo region by connecting them with different resources and different programs in our region. Some of these women, as Shawky mentioned, they are refugees or newcomers, or we are supporting women that who have been here for a long time. I heard a lot of great things about Shawky's Fahel's involvement in the community. So on behalf of our board members, I decided to reach out to him in 2019. But I founded the organization in 2016. So since then, since 2019, Shawky, he has been our main advisor, consultant, and our friend. And through our work with him and his leadership and mentorship, he showed his passion and commitment to support women, newcomers, and youth in our community. And through our discussions, John, with Shawky, I was very impressed by the amount of community awards that he has received locally and internationally. And this is what really our community needs. Our community needs leaders like Shawky Fahel. We are endorsing Shawky Fahel for the nomination of Kitchener South Hespeler Liberal riding. And I want to mention John here. On a personal level, Shawky is like a father to me. Since the day we met in 2019, he has never let me or my organization down. So thank you so much, Shawky, for letting me to be part of the formal launch. So thank you so much. Shukran.
Shukran. Thank you, Asma, so much. Shawky, over to you, and to wrap this up, and thank you, Asma, for participating. And Shawky, it's been an honor to be here with you tonight. And good luck. And we wish you well, and we know you're going to do very well. Shawky.
John, behind every great man, there's a great lady. So I'm really honored and proud of my wife, Kathy. And on my website, there's a question, what is your greatest accomplishment? And I say, it is my family. And the second thing that I have up there, I basically say by changing the attitude of the mind, you can change the course of history. So I'm hoping to change the attitude of the mind of many conservatives in Kitchener South Hespeler, and we'll have them vote for us. So I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank everybody that have participated in the production. I don't want to name names, but you know everybody who you are, but in particular Alex and Dan and Don and the rest of the team. I want to thank all the volunteers. I want to thank all the advisors. I want to thank everybody that have already signed, memberships in my support. For me to win the nomination, I need your support. I need your help. I need you to go to my website, voteshawky.ca, go to the form to fill and register as a supporter of Shawky and the Liberal Party. It takes 1 minute to fill it and sign it and send it. You have to be 14 years of age, and you have to be you don't have to be a Canadian citizen, but you have to have your PR card. So to all of you, I want to say thank you very much. Now, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm very honored and proud. There is nothing greater, and there is no greater honor than having to represent the constituents, the good people of Kitchener South Hespeler. Asma Al-Wahsh talked about the many awards that I have or had. That to me does not mean nothing. I want to talk about what I can and will, and I'm willing to work so very hard to represent you in Ottawa. You, the constituents, you, the good people of Kitchener South Hespeler. I also need to tell you, I'm not seeking a job. I'm not looking for a paycheck, as Scott Higgins said. I am looking to give back to this country that has been great to me and my family. And once again, I need your support. Talk to your friends, to your neighbors, to your pharmacist, to your doctor, to your gas station attendant, talk to them about trying to help Shawky Fahel and also helping the Liberal Party. And I'm going to reach out to all the Arab community here, and especially the new Canadians that have been given the compassion of our government, that I am trying to educate into the political system. I do need your support. I want to say to you all, thank you very much. Merci. Shukran. Jazakillah khair, ya Asma. I wish you all luck. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a wonderful, wonderful evening. I am honored to have addressed you all. So to all of you out there, have a wonderful night. Stay safe. We are still in a very challenging environment. Stay safe, keep your distance, and have your masks on. And John English, my good friend, I really will say from the heart, thank you very much. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for all your mentoring for all these good years. Thanks, John. And thank you, Eric, for the production. And have a great evening, everybody.